Hi guys, my name is Miriam. I am a data research assistant at SSSP, and today I'll be doing my workshop, How to Travel on a Budget. First of all, I hope everybody's staying safe, everybody is healthy, and you're doing great at home and at school as well. Um, so what I'm gonna do is that I don't want to just give you guys the tips. I want you guys to see how the tips actually work. So I went ahead and did some research on some flights for some upcoming months. Hopefully the coronavirus and all of this will be over so we can start traveling again. And you guys get to see it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to email me. My email is in all the reminders. And so yeah, let's start. So the first step into planning a trip is obviously to plot your destination. So if you just want to travel around, if you don't really know where to go, well, you need to first start in selecting a country where you want to go, selecting something that is under your budget. So if you have a really low budget, you might want to stay in America, in North America. If you have a little higher budget, you can go ahead and do South America. If you actually have a pretty flexible budget, you can go ahead and try anything else. In this case, I'll be doing Spain. So this is a country that I had recently traveled to, and I feel like I did not see enough of it. So I kind of had that feeling that I want to go again, and I went ahead and looked for some flights. I went ahead and see if it was something budgetable, and it actually is. So if anyone wants to take all of this information and use them for themselves, feel free to do so, okay? So once you have plotted your destination, you're gonna have to start looking for flights to see how much you're gonna be spending on that. So first of all, in order to get the cheapest flights, is that you have to have flexible travel dates and times. So if you have only 1 week to travel, more than likely you're not gonna have any flexibility. The the prices are gonna be probably gonna be higher, especially if it's during spring break, winter vacation that everybody's planning to travel. Then it's probably gonna be a little more expensive due to the situation, the high demand on flights. But since we're college students, of course, we have way more vacations than a lot of people. So if you use those dates, it might actually work for you. You might actually find cheaper flights and you will not be traveling with all of the high demand. So one of the tricks is to actually fly during the middle of the week. So you don't want to fly from a Saturday to a Sunday or from a Sunday to a Saturday because that's actually going to be more expensive. You might want to look for a Tuesday to a Wednesday or a Wednesday to a Thursday. I don't know. Um, in between the week, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays are always going to be cheaper. Or if you want to, a just go flight might be on Monday, but if you want a return flight on a Monday, it might be a little complicated. Also, be flexible with your destination. In this case, I chose a whole country. If you saw, I did not just pick like one city. If you don't have a specific city that you want to go to that you have to be there, then I recommend that you're flexible around it. So there's a lot of important airports that you can fly from and fly to. In this case, of course, El Paso is not that important of an airport. So what I did is that, I looked for the closest important airport around us, and it actually happened to be Los Angeles is the cheapest place to go to, and the cheapest place to find flights in order to go abroad. Always fly with budget carriers. I know it's we're not as comfortable with flying with some carriers that they're not as popular. We want to fly with Aeromexico. We want to fly with United, but in this case, try to find another airline, an airline that is going to be cheaper for you. Even if you don't know it, just go ahead and read the reviews and don't try to close your mind to just flying with carriers that you know. Another step is the lighter you pack, the cheaper you fly. So, as you know, the tourist is always going to be cheaper. Don't try to fly it in first class if you're trying to do a budget trip. If you don't care about the price, then well, you can fly on the first class. But if you're actually looking for something cheap, go ahead and do light packing. It's something I really recommend because if you pack a lot of stuff that you don't need, it's going to be a hassle for the whole trip. Also, be careful with search engines. So if you always look for it on Skyscanner, on Trivago, Kayak, you will find the comparisons between carriers. So that will help you pick your carrier, but most of the times the flight might be cheaper on the actual website for for the carrier. So in this case, the ones I use the most are Rolex, which is down here, and Google Flights, which is up here. So something I wanted to talk to you guys about is always, if you don't know what airport to fly to, you can use Google Flights. So you can just select Los Angeles or El Paso and pick Spain, and it's going to show you the cheapest city to fly to in Spain. So that's what I did, and that's when I found that the cheapest place to fly is, I believe, Barcelona. So let's go to the next. And let's see what video. Okay, yeah. Sorry. So the second step is you want to set your date range and research as transportation. So once you have picked what dates you're going to be traveling to, you actually go ahead and try to book your flights as soon as possible. So as you can see, the cheapest flight I found, which is actually really, really cheap, it's from Los Angeles to Barcelona, which is $332, which is actually really cheap because if you think about it, you'll be crossing an ocean. And so obviously we have to get to Los Angeles, so I did some research on that as well. And I believe the best option is a plane. It is cheaper to even drive there, but it's going to be complicated to leave your car somewhere. A bus is going to take too long. You're already going to be on a 12+ hour flight, so you don't want to be on a 12+ bus trip. So a plane is actually like 2 hours, and it's only a $50 difference. So I picked a plane. It's not as bad. You can travel with your luggage. Just always research how much luggage you can take, okay? So in this case scenario, I also picked December, since right now, due to all the coronavirus and the lockdown, we can't really travel. So I picked December. Hopefully we'll be out of this by December. And I picked from the 9th to the 30th, and it's actually like 8 months from now, so we have time to save money, right? So which is what we're going to talk about next. So our total international transportation, so our flights, it's $482, which if you think about it, it's actually really cheap. So the third step is that you actually start saving. So you already have your dates, you already know how long you're going to be there, and you already know where you're going. So you want to, cut all those expenses that you don't really need. And now you have 8 months to actually save money. So if you don't have a job, you can find one. You can stop buying a morning coffee. You can stop buying unnecessary clothes that you actually don't need, or all those expenses that are actually not needed. Something I wanted to talk about, something I did on my recent trips, is that I opened a savings account for GCU. And it actually gave me some interest if you have more than $100 in there. So you guys might want to try that. Have a savings account, or just freeze your money in your freezer, and that way you won't use it. But yeah, I think the most important thing here is just save, save, save. It's gonna help you a lot. And you'd rather spend on a coffee in Spain than a coffee in El Paso, right? So who doesn't? So in this case, since we're gonna be in Europe, you might want to travel around. You might not just want to stay in Barcelona. In my case, I really want to go to Madrid, so that's the place I wanted to go to. And how to get there, sometimes the flights are really cheap in Europe, but you won't get to carry your luggage. In Europe, all the cheap flights have really, really low weight, so you're probably not going to be able to take all your clothes. So if you're overpacked, flying is probably not the best option. So what I like the most is this Europass. So if you want to just get outside of Barcelona, if you want to get outside of Madrid, if you want to get outside of Spain, there's this pass that is that goes around Europe. You can get an inside country, which is cheaper, or you can actually get a pass that will take you around the European Union. And it's actually really cheap. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys. So this is the website. This is Euro. So this is in case you guys just want to stay in Spain. So since I'm youth, I'm going to go ahead and add the youth pass, remove the adult one, and go for second class. First class just has way more comfortable seats. But since we're planning to travel on a low budget, then we're going to go second class. It's just sitting down. Yeah, it's not that comfortable, but I mean, it's the best thing to do. In this case, I also okay, so in the trains, you'll be able to to take all the luggage you need. The only problem is that you actually have to carry it, so nobody's going to carry it for you. So if you're not as strong as I am, well, if you're not strong like I'm not strong, um, then you want to travel light. You want to, because you're gonna have to put your suitcase on like a top space. So it's probably gonna take a little while for you to do it, or you might struggle a lot. Maybe there's nobody else to help you, so you want to just keep that in consideration. There's also some places you can put it, but it's actually pretty far from where you're gonna be sitting, so you don't want to be like scared that somebody might steal it from you. Or in some cases, you actually have to travel in second class, and you're gonna have to be standing up. So if you have your luggage with you, you want it to be small. But this is the cheapest way to do it. So we're gonna be there 3 weeks, I believe. So in this case, I believe this is the best option, and they're actually telling us. So it is within a month, so you'll be able to go to Madrid, Sevilla, to Pamplona, wherever you want to go. You have this pass, and you have 8 trips to use it for. And in case you want to get out of Spain, which probably everybody wants to do, right? You want to get to know the whole European Union. Then you go here, Euro passes and Global Pass. And let's see that load. So again, make sure you're under youth. If you're in this age, if you're older, then you might want to have to get the adult, which is going to be a little more expensive, and of course, second class. So in this case, if we're going to be there 3 weeks, then maybe we want to do the 15 days. And you can, for 15 days, you can take all the trains that you need. Most of them are going to be free. You just download an app on your phone. It'll tell you which train to take. You just hop on, and there you go to your next adventure. All right. So the one I used when I recently went, I spent in Euro 2 months. So I used this one, which was $600, and it was actually really useful. We went from Italy to Spain, from Spain to Portugal, Portugal to France. So, and we actually went from France to the United Kingdom, and it was only $30 since we had this pass. So it does actually give you a lot of discounts, and most of the trains are going to be for free. So you have to consider all of your options. Of course, if you don't want to get on a train, if you actually want to fly, well, just make sure it's cheaper and that you actually travel light. If you want to take a bus, you can go ahead and do that. But it's obviously gonna be maybe a little more expensive, or maybe you're gonna take longer to get to your next destination. So you want to keep all of these things in mind when you do. All right, so now back to the PowerPoint. For our next step is going to be to research and plan. So you already have your flights, you already have your moving around pass, and you want to research what you want to do. So you want to know what places you want to visit. If you have to book a ticket for something, make sure you do it beforehand. One of the mistakes I made is that I wanted to visit the Roman Colosseum, and I forgot to buy a ticket until the day before. So you can tell, like, I probably spent like $30 more than I should have spent if I would have bought it before. And that's $30 we can use to eat. So make sure you research on that. Any place you want to go, if you want to get to know before, there's a lot of information sources that I like to use and that I think are very useful for everyone. One of them is Lonely Planet. They do publish books almost every year, and they give you a lot of tips, where to go, how much it is, what restaurants you can visit. It also lets you know how to use local transportation. So it's a really good resource. The books are around $20, so you might want to consider that if you don't want to spend. Then there's the free resources, which is TripAdvisor. They'll tell you the prices. You can just go ahead and filter if you want really low places to go, if you want to eat Italian food, or if you're actually a person that prefers to go to the beaches and not really go to historical places. That's understandable. So go ahead and do the research for yourself. Go ahead and go to places you actually are going to enjoy going to. If you don't like museums, then you don't want to spend your money on like going into museums. You might want to spend it visiting architectural places, or you can go to like art places. So if you like partying, maybe you don't want to go to the museum. You want to save that money and go out party during the night. So they're also actually going to tell you which places are the best to go to. But always look for a lot of information. Don't just stick to one place because they might trick you since you're a tourist. Another research I like a lot is Alan por el Mundo. He has a YouTube channel, and it's actually really useful. He does give a lot of useful information. He'll show you in his videos. He'll tell you the prices, and it's a good information source if you don't want to be tricked just because you're a tourist, which is gonna happen a lot. And lastly, so wherever you go, you want to be contacted. You want to be communicated with your family. You want to be communicated with everyone. And you also, like, a good resource is to have Google Maps on your phone. That way you don't have to ask for directions if you don't want to. And you can just put a location, your hotel, to go to a bar, and it'll give you how to get there. It's just Google Maps. So you want to have internet for that. Therefore, you want to know what is the best phone to have. Well, not phone, but so the best SIM card, or is it better to, for the time that you're gonna be away, you might want to stop paying for your phone here in El Paso, and you might want to spend that money and buy a SIM card over there, which is really useful. Most of the SIM cards in the European Union are able to use around, so you might want to research that. Maybe it's cheaper to actually buy it over there than if you're paying overpriced because you're gonna be using your mobile data over there. So keep that in mind. Research a lot. You don't want to be tricked. All right, so for our fifth step is to book accommodation. So in here I have 4 options, which is hostels, hotels, Airbnbs, and couch surfing. So I want to start by talking about couch surfing, which is I personally do not recommend it. I have not used it, but I did. Well, I'm going to explain what couch surfing is. So basically, you're on your phone and you put in like, oh, I'll be traveling to Barcelona, and you're looking for accommodation for 2 people. And a lot of homes will come out of people that are willing to let you sleep on their couch, or they'll have a spare room or spare bed, and you can go in and sleep at their homes. It's actually free. So if somebody's willing to take you in, you'll just do an application. They'll accept you, and then they'll go ahead and pick you up, or they'll let you know how to get to their homes, and you'll be sleeping. But the only problem is that it's a total stranger. You don't really know exactly how they are. Some people, they do have recommendations on the app, of course, but I don't know. I personally did not use it because we did make an application when we traveled, but a day before they did cancel our application. Like, they had accepted us and then they just denied it. So that was a big problem because we had to be looking for a hotel a day before, and that's actually gets pretty expensive, and most of them are already booked. So this is pretty not for sure. So you want to have something for sure, and that's an option. So if you really don't want to spend money on accommodation, you can always use couch surfing. It's there for you. So personally, I do not recommend it, but feel free to research more information on it, and it might actually be good for you. It's good for meeting people. Another option is Airbnb. Of course, we all know how Airbnb works. In some places, they'll just rent you a room. You'll be paying for it. You might be staying with someone. Sometimes it's cheaper. Sometimes it's a little more expensive. So always make sure to research all your sources. So booking.com, no, they'll give you points. So that's a hotel. We're all familiar with hotels. You have your privacy and you'll be comfortable most of the times. That's what a hotel is. And lastly is the hostel. So in a hostel, you'll be staying in a dormitory. So you're not going to be having privacy. You're not going to be having a room for yourself. But it's actually cheaper. You'll be renting a bed. So you'll get there. They'll just give you a bed. You'll be sharing your room with other people. You'll be sharing a bathroom. So mostly you don't have a lot of privacy, but it's actually really cheap options. With hostels, something a lot of people ask me is it safe? For me, it was safe. I luckily did not get I did not experience any crime. I did not experience any harassment or anything. So some rooms are just for girls, some are mixed. And you'll actually have a locker, so you can put your suitcase in there, you can put your luggage there, or if you get a small locker, you can just put your important stuff, your passport, money, credit cards, whatever you're traveling with. You can just leave it in your locker. Make sure you always travel with a lock if you're going to be staying in hostels, because you want to lock your luggage before you leave. Always, always, always lock it. Even if you're just going to go to pee, you want to make sure to lock it. Just be safe on that. So it is actually pretty safe. In my experience, I have not had any bad experience in a hostel, but it's always on you if you want to use it or not, if you feel safe or not. Give it a shot. It's good to meeting people. We met a lot of people in hostels. Everybody's pretty nice. Most of them are young people traveling. So you might want to use it. So I did the research as well. In this case, I did it for Madrid. I did not really do it for Barcelona because, like I said, I wanted to go to Madrid. And so if you see, like $9 is actually pretty cheap for a night. So you, in this one, you're renting a bed. So here it is, bunk bed and mixed dormitory. So yeah, you're gonna be paying $9 a day in order to sleep in that hostel. The reason I did not pick the first one that is cheaper, it's because if you see, it's 6 kilometers from the center. So that money, that dollar you're saving on accommodation, you might be spending it on local transportation. So you want to research that as well. How expensive is local transportation? In Europe, it's actually a little more expensive than in the US or in Mexico because it's actually the most used. It has more high demand. So if you're really far from the city center, more than likely you're going to be far from all the local attractions. So if you're closest to the city center, we all can walk 3 kilometers, I think. So it's closer, and you might be spending less than if you're far away. So that's the reason I picked the Villa Lawrence one. Or the one down. You can also pick that one. It's closer. And hotel best option. As you can see, it was pretty far, but that was the cheapest hotel I could find. And it's $27 a night. Of course, you'll have your privacy, but I mean, for me, I prefer to share a dormitory than actually pay all of this extra. And it's you also have to pay for the local transportation. You're pretty far from everything. So you want to keep all those little details in consideration. How far is it from the city center? How expensive is local transportation? The price, is it really worth it? If I'm not comfortable sharing my privacy during the night, of course, you're sleeping, there's a lot of people in the dormitory. So they might be snoring, you might not be able to sleep, or somebody might be using their phone, or if you're expecting an interview call or whatever, you're gonna be sharing a room, so you can't really say anything. Maybe at 5 a.m. somebody will want to wake up and go running, so they'll turn on the light and you might wake up. So those are the downside of a hostel. But on the good side, most of the hostels, they do have their own like restaurants and bars, so you do get to meet a lot of people, and it's really fun. For the hotels, well, the recommendation is the privacy. So it really depends on you, what you're willing to sacrifice and what you prefer. So it's really on to you how comfortable you're gonna be. All right. So our sixth step is actually gonna be packing. So like I said, in order for you to pack light, you want to have a small luggage. The bigger your luggage is, the more stuff you're gonna put in it. So make sure it's small. Make sure you can carry it around. If you're weak like me, then you might want to, have a small one that you can actually move on your own. One of my experiences is that I went on an exchange program to Peru a couple of years ago, and I took 2 big suitcases. So I was in the airport, and I could not carry it on my own. They were falling. I had a huge mess, and some person had to come and help me. So you really don't want that to happen to you. So take something you can carry on your own, so you don't have to ask for help. It's better. Also, pack light. Like I said, you'll be avoiding excess baggage fees, which are really expensive, with checked baggage fees. So you want to travel as light as you can. Only take what you need. And something I add at the end is just avoid just in case packing. So if you're gonna be doing like you want to meet cultures, you want to walk around, maybe you want to be hiking, why would you take heels, right? Like, or I don't know, you're thinking that, oh, I'm gonna be going to London, I might, why don't I take a dress? I might meet the queen. More than likely, you're not gonna meet the queen. So don't take dresses, big dresses, or stuff. It's just in case I go out of town, or just in case I go to a party, or just in case I meet the love of my life. I don't know. Just avoid just in case packing. More than likely, it's not gonna happen. I'm sorry. Mm, don't pack your largest wearable items. In this case, we're gonna be going in December, so your huge jacket. You want to take it on the plane, so that way you avoid the excess baggage fees. If you're gonna be taking big boots, make sure you wear them. Take walking and comfortable shoes. Like I said, this is in order to travel on a budget, so you're gonna be walking a lot if you don't want to spend a lot of money. That therefore you want to take really comfortable shoes. Okay. Oh, and buy some travel scales. For accuracy, there's really small scales that you wrap around your luggage and lift it up, and it'll tell you the weight, so you can actually carry that with you, and it help you out to know how much it's weighing. You don't want to get to the airport and they're gonna be like, oh, it's, you can't actually take it with you. You're gonna have to take some stuff out, then you're gonna have to throw it away, and it's probably gonna be a hazard. And now, so those are my saving tips. So now just some information. Some people did ask me this. So, and do I need a visa to go to? Well, one of the questions you want to ask yourself. So these are questions that you might want to ask yourself. So before we leave, you want to know: do I need a visa to get where I'm going? Um, And in this case scenario, I did research. So Spain is part of the European Union, which do have an agreement that tourist people that are going to travel under a 90-day period, you do have a free stay. So make sure it's under 90 days and your passport is valid for at least 3 months after you travel. Mm, and also, some people did ask me, how long does a passport take? It usually takes about 2 months to get to you. If you wanted fast, it might be like $16 more, I believe. And a passport does, you can't travel outside of the US, Mexico, and Canada with a passport card. You'll need the passport book. So you want to go ahead, if you don't have it, you want to go ahead and get that. And it costs about $100, I believe. Plus, if you want it as soon as possible, it costs $60 more. And does my insurance cover traveling abroad? If it doesn't, you might want to research on traveling insurance. There's really cheap ones for like $60 with AXA. This is not an ad. And you also, well, the good things about traveling with insurance is that if you lose your luggage, if they cancel your flight, your insurance might give you more money. So yeah. Another question is, do I have all the shots I need? Some places of the world do require you to have certain shots. In this case, for example, if you go to the Amazons in Brazil, you need a certain type of shot. So you might want to get it beforehand. So it's cheaper in your home country than if you get it over there. So also, how's the weather when you get there? You don't want to be over there and then it starts raining and you don't have a raincoat. So you might have to buy one, and that's another expense that you don't really want. Do I need a travel adapter? So for most of the countries, you'll need a travel adapter. You don't want your charger to break. You don't, if you can take your straightener, girls. You don't want your straightener to break, because if you put in a voltage that it's not supported, it might break for unused. So make sure you have a travel adapter. Check how much voltage you need. Make sure you research on that, and also some don't even fit. So. And what's the currency? Is it better to exchange over there? Is it better to exchange it here? Are you just going to be using your credit card? Is your credit card valid over there? Some credit cards are not valid abroad. So you might want to research that as well. And finally, does my bank know, like, does your bank know that you're going to be traveling? Because if they don't, they might block your card, and that's going to be a hazard you really don't want when traveling abroad. You don't want to be having to pay for your hotel and your card is blocked, so now you don't have nowhere to stay. So make sure you ask to yourself all of these questions before you leave. That way you don't have a lot of issues over there. So when I'm there, So one of the things is that you want to taste the food from where you're going. You want to research what type of food you like. If you have any allergies to something, you want to research in advance what stuff can you eat, what stuff can you not eat. So you might want to know that. What stuff is it that you want to try, and all that. For souvenirs, something I really wanted to talk about is that you don't have to buy souvenirs for everyone you know. So if somebody asks you to, I don't know, take them a keychain, just be like, okay, send me the money. I'm traveling on a budget. I can't really take your souvenir. I'm sorry. If you do want to take souvenirs, find the cheapest ones and just take it to the people that you actually want to take some to. Don't take like 20 souvenirs just in case somebody asks you for one. It's not really an expense you want to. Um, Research on tourist attractions if you want to go somewhere. Is it free? Do I have to pay? Do I want a tour guide? Because they do have a cost. So make sure you research that as well before, because once you get there, they might fool you as a tourist and charge you more than you have to pay. So also something really cool is most of the cities in the world do have free walking tours. So just make sure you put in your city, Barcelona free walking tour, and you might get a guide and they'll walk you around the city. You just tip them at the end, and there you go. You had a really cheap cultural experience. And also research the time zone. So you don't want to be calling your parents at 3 a.m. Because over there you're pretty awake. So make sure you research the time zone as well. Be considerate on all that. So finally, the approximate budget for this 3-week trip is $1,241.57. This is counting the accommodations. I research, if you see down here, I do have a link. If anybody needs this PowerPoint, you can go ahead and email me and I'll go ahead and email it to you. But this cool link, you just budget your trip, you put in where you're going and they'll give you a budget how much everything is approximately. So as we saw, accommodation is 9 euros. Food is approximately 11 euros a day. You can always make it less if you don't go to expensive places or if you don't eat, just going to eat. Water is around €1 a day. So you might want to take a water bottle with you and you can fill it around. They do have like free water filling places and stuff. Transportation in Spain is around €8 per day, and alcohol is around €3 per day. So if you're a drinker, wine, whatever beer, is about €3. You want to consider that. You don't want it to just be surprised by the expense over there. And finally, it's going to be €33 a day, so which is about $37. And we're going to be staying there in this trip to Spain. We're going to be staying there 21 days, so it's $759 plus the trip, plus the flights. Then the total is 1,241. I did also the information. So this trip, for example, this is an example, of course, is in 8 months. So basically you have 8 months to save this money, 1,200. And if you do the math, you only have to save $156 a month. And you'll be able to go to Spain within 8 months. So basically, like I said at the beginning, the important thing is to always save money. Don't overspend on anything else. Don't overspend on excess baggage fees and all that. So this is it for me. If anybody has any questions, if you guys want the PowerPoint, if I didn't make myself clear in anything, feel free to send me an email and I'll go ahead and respond to you as soon as possible. So go ahead, and just to remind you, if you need any tutoring, we do have English tutoring, science tutoring, math tutoring, and I'll be doing the business tutoring. So I hope you guys have a great end of the semester and you guys are staying safe. Thank you for watching my workshop.